So a new chapter is here, which will probably be the investigation for Waning Crescent's death, who I just realized in the last video that it was supposed to be Nightwatch, though I kind of leaning towards it being his twin brother based on like parallels that was like brought up in the story. Knowing this will also be like a long one to sit through, I'm just gonna go right in it. Chapter 2, Open the Doors to the Past. Oh, we're in this room, the alchemy room. This was once the office of Director Mars. Every item remains exactly as it was on his last day, undisturbed since. As I investigate the office, Officer Jose seems to notice something and called out from the doorway. When I raise my head from the manuscript, a young man in a patrol uniform has appeared with a well-groomed dog at his feet. The patrol officer, noticing my scrutinizing gaze, smiles shyly, bowing his head to write a few words on a piece of paper and passing it to us, all without making a sound. The dog is also silent, merely wagging its tail at us. The note reads, "We have been unable to reach Director Waning Crescent's brother, but I found a doctor willing to assist. We will transport Director Waning Crescent's body to town for examination of the cause of death. A detailed report is expected to be ready by tonight." You're right on time. Do tell our lady detective what you can do about Director Mars. She had a go at me several times already, but the library folk are unwilling to say much to outsiders. And the prior case files are all at your loyal constabulary. It's hardly my fault for the slim pickings around here, clue-wise. The new patrol officer provides a stark contrast to Officer Jose's behavior, exhibiting a far more reserved demeanor. He appears to prefer communicating via pen and paper, jotting down his knowledge of the Azoth library upon Jose's inquiry. Oh, as postman, I became interested in alchemy a year ago when Director Philemon managed the Azoth library, so I never met Director Mars. I have, however, heard he was quite the formidable personage, gaining prominence suddenly after a mining disaster and subsequently becoming the director of the Azoth library. The police found a wound on Director Mars, though neither the injury nor the amount of blood lost were fatal. The investigation suggests an error during his experimentation, leading to toxic gas buildup from the metals being heated in the crucible. He inhaled them in excess, which caused respiratory failure and his unfortunate demise. It seems this manuscript records the process of how Director Mars makes gold, aside from the ore images and the word quartz. The notes merely contain words unrelated to metal, like king and queen. Are these the kind of metaphors alchemists use then? Indeed, such are the order's custom. For them, such terminology serves as a professional mode of description. The metaphorical direction and even the symbolic pictorial elements for common metals are typically quite consistent. Wait, you mean the pictures? I was so preoccupied with wondering what the meaning behind the manuscript words that I nearly forgot the painting. No need to tiptoe for a decent view. Here, let me take it down for you. Officer Jose, seeing me struggle, offered his aid, and the housekeeper does not stop us from altering the room's arrangement. As he removed the painting from the wall, I suddenly noticed writing on the back of the frame. King, bride. The content of this poem corresponds with the imagery in the painting. Oh, a cryptic message is found on the back of the portrait. Oh, there's his face. It corresponds to different characters and animals in the portrait. Can you examine the back? Oh, what? Okay. The Golden King, rightfully crowned in honor, the chaste bride, fated to be by his side, the ravenous grey wolf, its very name, a harbinger of ill winds, has its lineage tracing back to old Saturn, cast the wolf into flames, consume entirely, and the king shall thus be redeemed. Okay. Alright, select the king. The Golden King, rightfully crowned in honor, chased by fate to be by his side. Is it? Wait, what? Okay. And then select the bride. Old Saturn. Oh, okay, wait, it's, the sky, I guess. And then, okay, and this is the wolf. Alright. So it's true that people can make gold. No wonder Mr. Inference always harps on about the value of knowledge. What a revelation. If I had known, I wouldn't have been slacking off on the books all those years. You spoke like a man who knows his stuff just now. You must have studied all this quite thoroughly. Officer Jose passed the patrol officer's shoulder, who sways under his hand like a grimacing roly-poly doll. Oh my gosh. While I harbor suspicions that Mars' demise was no mere accident, the likelihood of murder for gain seems slim. If that were the case, why didn't the perpetrator take the other valuables in the room? If the lure was merely for gold, why did the previous directors also suffer accidental deaths? Whether due to an inadvertent nudge or my own unsteady hand, the reagent cascades out, drenching the notebook's pages. The damning pages suddenly revealed hidden text within what were once blank spaces. The handwriting, similar to that of the previous experimental records, now appears to be a collection of personal statements. Oh no. Oh, what is this?
This director, once a prospector, was spared by fate in a mining disaster.
Oh no.
Surviving unscathed, he stumbled upon a medieval alchemy grimoire
I didn't expect
in
this
the cavern's depths.
to get like another cutscene in like this kind of style.
Within its
of
warm
illustration.
pages, he discovered an alchemical art unknown to him, the distillation of water to its purest form. This pristine water promised to not only transmute base metals into precious ones, but also to serve as the foundation for crafting the Philosopher's Stone. The tome, cryptic in its wisdom, detailed not the means to procure this purest water, offering only but a painting concealing an alchemical formula nestled between its leaves. Armed with the tome's arcane knowledge and methods, he ascended to become the director of the Azoth library. Thereafter, he toiled upon the experimental table night after night, guided by the painting's instructions in pursuit of that singular drop of pure water that could transmute stone to gold, an element that could grant the deepest of desires. Yet, as life's final shadow fell upon him, success remained ever elusive.
Indeed, these are the notes of Director Mars, who, until the end, never succeeded in refining gold. So you're telling me that, like, Fool's Gold is already dead at this point? Like, if he's, like, Director Mars, in this case, like, y'all, he's already dead in this case. If the murderer truly wished to avoid drawing attention and keeping the formula hidden, why leave symbols representing different elements, thus allowing us to see this note? Officer Jose, with the clarity of reason, constructs a hypothesis. Though I found myself grappling with its plausibility, the conjecture seemed to stretch the bounds of likelihood. Yet Officer Jose appears unwavering certain, summoning the patrol officer to call for a delivery of quartz ore, intent on another trial of the formula's veracity. The Bourne previously imitated that Aria's symbol was the fourth. There is one in Director's Wayne Crescent's office and one on the cover of the Director Mars manuscript, so there must be another director with a corresponding symbol. May we inspect this director's office? You're referring to Dr. Philemon. He was the successor designated by Director Mars, and his office too was sealed in memorial, following his untimely demise. Oh, new room. Oh my gosh. Is that Lewis? As the housekeeper escorts us to Director Philemon's office, the patrol officer pens his impressions of Philemon in his notebook, while the housekeeper occasionally offering her annotations. The patrol officer recounts his interactions with Director Philemon. Philemon was esteemed, rumored to be on the cusp of creating the perfect homunculus, an alchemical term for an artificial life form, which Philemon believed, in its purity, could epitomize the perfect human. I inquired further about Director Philemon's cause of death from the patrol officer, who informed me that Philemon suffered moderate blood loss, with a wound present, yet not fatal. The cause of death was poisoning, a byproduct of his experiments. With the experience from Director Mars' office in mind, I first examined a notebook on the desk, the foremost page revealing a diagram, or perhaps a cipher. Oh no, what is this, Morse code? Oh no. This arrangement and pattern, it's Morse code, let me see. If I consider the first circular symbol to be the dots, no, that doesn't make sense. The words are disjointed. Could it be the reverse? Y'all, okay, wait, I need some time. Okay. Wait, she said it happens to be reversed, right? Or, okay, wait, give me a moment here. Okay, after looking at this, I feel like this might be option 3. Okay. The answer does not seem to solve the mystery of the notes. It remains a riddle. It shall ascend in the light. This must be related to Director Philemon's experiments. It has to be. Oh, wait. It says light, right? So is it like fire? This doesn't seem to be the case. It appears further contemplation is required. Oh, it's not fire. Air? Air. Could this word, employed as the cipher, be related to Director Philemon's research? I leaf through the notebook, finding that, unlike Director Mars' capricious notations, Director Philemon's records are marked by precision and orderliness. Okay, Director Philemon's notes. This is another video, oh gosh, okay.
This director was obsessed with the alchemy of life. Hailing from a family of knights, he one day unearthed a stark revelation from the paintings of his ancestors. Flawed creations, such as human beings, shall never be able to forge the Philosopher's Stone. Only a being of immaculate perfection, surpassing human intellect, might possess sufficient faculties. This most perfect being, he surmised, would emerge from the purest air. Heating that ancient cryptic canvas, he melded human body fluid with herbs in a flask and sealed it with horse manure. After 40 days, a translucent, human-like form manifested within.
Oh my gosh.
He named it the
The
homunculus.
homunculus.
But the homunculus was not as he imagined it would be. Devoid of sentience, silent, and unable even to open its eyes, let alone create the Philosopher's Stone.
No, you see him on like the right there. Oh my gosh. The notes revealed that he cultivated a homunculus, yet this creation did not align with his expectations. The office left untouched after the incident still harbors the homunculus. Oh no, examine this. The man in the bottle, a small figure is strapped on the bottle, its eyes ringed with blood, looking into the distance. Oh, the glowing area. He's like looking at this. Yo. What? Is that blood on the wall? Why is this symbol concealed behind the bookcase? The malefactor has not hidden his demands yet. Otherwise, the other two symbols would not be painted in plain sight. Symbols behind the cabinet. Okay. Man in the ball. Oh my gosh. The choice of this location must have its own reasoning. Oh my gosh. Yo, we got like a front view shot of Jose. This blood stain appears rather fresh, unlikely to have drawn more than a year ago. Officer Jose, hold the lamp steady. Don't move. Okay. Oh, well, there's a symbol there. Okay. Investigating point. 1 begets 2, 2 begets 3, and from the third, the first emerges as 4. Oh wait, this whole symbol. Okay, inscriptions on the wall. That just appeared. Okay. This seems to be what the malefactor wishes to convey. But what does this phrase mean? Once the report is out, after comparing everyone's fingers, the culprit will have nowhere to hide. 1 begets 2, 2 begets 3. These numbers don't seem to mean anything special in those we saw before. Could this be a sequence for murder? I remember now, my grandfather read this line to me. It was from a book I found after triggering that mechanism. Oh, what is this? Oh, whoa. The ground is soft. I followed the scent of the trees is coming from the texture of the wood. Oh, okay, wait, I get it. This is like how she sees things, because like she's like blind right now, so this is how we're seeing the library through her eyes. The patrol officer is even beckoned by Officer Jose to assist, and together they dislodge the marble statue, revealing a concealed mechanism to our collective gaze. Arya, the shape of the keyhole seems to match your key. Okay. Oh, what is this? The key puzzle. Place the key in the correct position. Okay. Here we go. Embedded. As Arya inserts the key into the keyhole, I feel a slight tremor from deep within the floor and walls. The sound of the mechanism's activation is faint, its method of actuation unknown, and star glow suspended at the hall's heart begins to rotate slowly. Okay. It appears your grandfather indeed left something for you in this library. This mechanism causes the star globe to form a concentric circle, undoubtedly signifying something. Could it be another manuscript recording a formula? This is the Azoth Library Ancient Legacy. Under our curious looks, the patrol officer's face turns slightly red. He writes something down, avoiding our eyes. The patrol officer explains their tradition to us. In the culture of esoteric code, the symbols represent not just the user's field of study. The code, which refers to overly ground imagery, also requires the observer to have a high level of alchemy in that area in order to be comprehended. Symbols like Mars for Director Mars and the Moon for Director Waning Crescent, which encompass the entire category of metals, require the user to be adept in their studies or they won't be able to understand them. No wonder the patrol officer's expression carries a tinge of envy, barely perceptible but undeniably present. Okay, that is Uranus, Neptune, that is a comet, and that represents Earth. Uranus and Neptune were only recently discovered in-game, while comets and Earth, though long observed, have only been systematically understood in the last century. Okay. This seems unrelated to the current director's death, though. Before he arrived, I asked around before I worried about these behind all this. You see, the Azoth Library was designed with countless mechanisms and secret passages, usually known only to the director. Thus, to truly move freely throughout the library, you need to be familiar with them all. I speculate that Director Mercury considered this secrecy of these mechanisms, and upon their discovery, filled the gaps with other objects to suddenly alter the arrangement. Wouldn't you agree? Arya's grandfather went to great lengths, leading her to keep before he died. I do not believe he merely wished these mechanisms to remain undiscovered. I asked the patrol officer, who seems very interested in alchemy, about the esoteric order's doctrines and rules. As expected, he knows all about them, even though he's not a member. He informs me that the amputation of a finger is not a common punishment within the order. It is meted out only to those who have committed grave errors or betrayed the teachings, almost tantamount to being expelled from the realm of alchemy. Forcing a director to resign is no trivial affair. The warden also mentioned that he believes Arya's actions invoked the curse, leading to the successive deaths of the directors. But even if a curse exists, it must follow a cause and effect. I have a premonition that if we unravel the mystery of the curse, we will also elucidate the cause of the director's deaths. Okay, Chapter 3. Every question awaits an answer. But what significance do the symbols hold? The outermost are water, fire, earth, and air. Must we seek these elements in the library? There's very little water inside the library itself, but there's a huge lake outside. Could whatever it is that we're looking for be beneath its surface? That wouldn't be so bad, actually. It's been ages since I had some good exercise, and a dive might just be the thing. Y'all, this dude wants to take a swim right now. I hastily restrained the overeager Officer Jose. Arya mentioned that it was her grandfather who read whatever she found after she triggered the mechanism. It must have been some kind of book or document. Waterproofing paper is challenging, even when stored in a sealed container. There's always a risk of leakage. If an accident were to happen underwater, no one would want to take responsibility for it. It stands to reason that it will be kept in a stable environment for safekeeping. I surmise it is still within this very library. Grandfather told me that the 4 letters of the front of the Azoth library serial number are the initials of the 4 stages necessary in the creation of the Philosopher's Stone. In their application, these letters are jumbled, a effort to demarcate different areas. Negredo, Albedo, Cintrinitas, and Rubedo. The 4 stages of creating the Philosopher's Stone, also believed to require the purest of the 4 fundamental elements to complete. Miss Housekeeper, is there a section labeled that? There is, but do you have a more detailed code in mind? Even with this one section, there are still hundreds of books. Perhaps I could ask the others about the esoteric view of astronomy and the location of related books within the library. Okay, we have people to ask here. Officer Jose, surely he isn't seriously contemplating the fabled transmutation of stone to gold, is he? Even though Director Mercury's was proficient in astronomy, as he was, these personal achievements would not be widely recognized. Until he claimed to have created the Philosopher's Stone, the linguistic relationships he innovated would not be acknowledged by others. Among the books purchased by Director Mercury, are there any specific celestial bodies or themes that are more prevalent? I'm not sure about that. Unlike Mr. Warren, the patrol officer, I have no interest in alchemy. Sorry, I just recently taken an interest in alchemy. During this brief time, I've only learned some foundational knowledge. I'm afraid I can't help you. That's alright, patrol officer. Just speak freely if you come across any metaphors in the books you read that link metals with astronomical terms. If the final earth symbol represents the end, combined with the clues obtained earlier, from the numbers 1 to 5, it could definitely be chosen as a representation. What? Bruh. I don't know, man. Is it 5? This doesn't seem to be the case. It appears further contemplation is required. 4. Miss Housekeeper, is there a volume within the library akin to the index of book codes? I still find myself uncertain of the remaining numbers and wish to consult it for verification. Regrettably, the most detailed index was in the director's possession, and I'm aware of where Director Wayne Crescent placed it. However, I recall the majority of the shelf codes, so should you seek confirmation, you can ask me directly. Is there a volume with the code, this number 4? If my memory serves correctly, there is indeed such a code. Allow me to retrieve it for you. This is it. I carefully continued to leaf through the book, softly reading for Arya beside me. This is not merely a research book. It is the diary of an alchemist named Maria.
The 4 knights of the alchemical order are venerated not just as symbols of the 4 eminent alchemists who founded the secret society, but also as embodiments of the 4 alchemical methods they mastered,
Yeah, we've
each
been getting like
associated
so much of these,
with one of the
lately.
4 fundamental elements. Maria, unparalleled in her knowledge of the earth element, made a groundbreaking discovery during her experiments. The secret lies in refining earth, air, water, and fire to their utmost purity. By doing so, one could forge the Philosopher's Stone. However, Maria never had the opportunity to replicate her findings. Soon after, she fell victim to betrayal at the hands of the other 3 alchemists, who imprisoned her and left her to her fate. Frail since birth and plagued by ailments, Maria's condition worsened when her fellow alchemists surreptitiously tampered with her medicines, exacerbating her condition and robbing her of her sight. Awaiting death in the darkness, Maria divulged no further clues about the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah, they
Instead,
so dirty.
she left behind a curse for those who dared seek it. Those who peer into its secrets shall spill fresh blood upon the purest of elements.
To bleed unto death. The curse refers to this. According to the extant records, indeed, several deceased directors bore wounds that caused bleeding, though not all perished from excessive blood loss. Considering the inscriptions on the wall, the perpetrator undoubtedly committed their mimicry under a clear understanding of Maria's curse, shifting these concerns onto the curse itself. Maria's secret. Was this what grandfather sought to conceal? It is mentioned here that Maria successfully crafted the Philosopher's Stone, but did not divulge the detailed formula to any other living soul. Perhaps the other alchemists believed that clues to this formula were laid within her notes. The same symbols, a similar physique, Maria extols the brilliance of divine water in the rose at the notebook's end, while Arya's grandfather, or rather Arya's family and the esoteric order, also make ample use of the rose. I suddenly entertain a bold conjecture. Arya, do you possess a family tree? Do you know Maria's surname? Do you suppose she could be of the Miller lineage? Indeed, I, too, sense a familiarity. The final verses here resemble those my grandfather taught me. As sacred water flows in fire's embrace, we forge anew in unyielding essence. It seems now that this may conceal the formula for crafting something. Could it be the Philosopher's Stone? I know the sacred water. It is mentioned in the manuscripts of Director Mars and Director Waning Crescent as sulfur water. Good news! The missing quartz have been delivered by a helpful soul. Shall we now proceed to validate Director Mars's formula? I have no objections. Let us proceed. Upon entering Director Mars' office, I encountered a warden who appears somewhat irate, and another unfamiliar gentleman nods at Officer Jose and the patrol officer upon our arrival. Your efforts are appreciated, sir. Oh, it's Professor. Oh my gosh, it's Professor. Not at all. It is but my duty. I have brought the ore you requested. Observing the setup here, it seems you intend to conduct an experiment? Precisely. We aim to emulate the formula once used by Director Mars here to ascertain its validity. A yellow stone. This is far from easy. Are we on the cusp of success? However, the formula recorded by Director Morris dictates that the final product should be of a sweet-tasting red liquid. He believes this red liquid, a liquefied Philosopher's Stone, could catalyze other metals into gold. This appears to be but an intermediary product. The product you have obtained is a type of antimony glass. The anticipated culmination of this formula, a sweet red liquid, pure and non-toxic, is an impossibility. No antimony compound can dissolve in alcohol or water, nor any red. I allowed your entry not to denigrate the director's legacy. Director Mars created pale red glass, as many have witnessed. His failures stem only from not having completely removed the impurities. The elements he refined were not pure enough. He achieved those intermediary products precisely because they contained impurities. This beautiful yellow glass is now before us. Its formation hinged not on stibnite but on quartz. It is quartz that can form quartz glass through high temperature melting. Thus, the individual who inscribed quartz in the notes must also be aware of the formula's flaw. The handwriting depicting the word quartz in the notes, nearly identical to that on the wall, leads me to believe that the person is the true culprit behind the deaths of several directors, and the clues he deliberately left reveal his motive. I now believe the answer to the preceding conundrum is within my grasp. In the light of Miss Maria's pen recollections, it may well be the malefactor is exacting punishment upon those who dare to seek the Philosopher's Stone, as their curse narrative describes. The wounds that bleed are a macabre homage to the curse, and the severed fingers might well be the malefactor's retribution upon those deemed traitors, a culprit who not only possesses a profound knowledge of alchemy, but also a deep-seated conviction in the ways of the esoteric order. From the clues at hand, I can extract several traits we can ascribe to the culprit. He, or perhaps she, is a devout believer in the esoteric teachings, intimately familiar with the library, able to enter without leaving a trace, freely coming and going into locked offices of directors, not only privy to the research pursuits of several directors over the past 2 years, but also having read Miss Maria's research notes. An outsider would find it difficult to achieve this in a short space of time, and none within the library fully matched the characteristics of the culprit. The warden, with his penchant for alchemy, lacks the key to the director's office, while the housekeeper, keeper of the spare keys, shows no interest in alchemy, and neither possess the physical prowess to confront several directors in their prime. Meanwhile, the patrol officer has a solid alibi. Could the malefactor be not among this gathering, but another unseen individual? No, that cannot be. Director Waning Crescent met his fate in the early hours, and his sifting thereafter, the entire library was sealed up by Officer Jose. And the patrol officer, ensuring no one besides myself and Arya could traverse the drawbridge, and my own vigilance upon arrival confirms no soul departed via the river. The malefactor must still lurk within the grounds. The Azoth library is indeed vast enough to conceal persons beyond our sight, and among these people within its walls, someone must know. Yeah, okay, Chapter 3 has ended. The next chapter will be available after maintenance on July 18, 2024. Man, okay. Alright, oh, whoa. From the looks of it, we completed like 80% of the story. So I'm assuming like next week, it's probably going to be like maybe one chapter and an epilogue, perhaps. And like probably would wrap up this whole story. Yeah, so basically, Puppeteer and Fool's Gold was actually like a previous director. I'm kind of sad to see that they weren't like not actually like present in the story. They were just like mentioned. Also, someone has like, I've seen people brought up how this Fool's Gold skin looks like I'll hate them from Genshin. And now like I just can't see the skin the same anymore. But yeah, and also yeah, I'm still kind of holding the theory about like, oh, the person that died is actually basically Nightwatch's brother, and that maybe like the actual murderer is like Nightwatch himself. But yeah, we shall see until like next week how the story's gonna wrap up. But yeah, until then, I'll just see y'all in the next video.